The act of creation has to do with the fire principle, and it's symbolized in the wands of the tarot, or the suit of rods. And the tarot is a very, very important message, aside from a lot of us using the tarot for fortune telling, which is an excellent fortune telling tool. But the tarot is actually a string of instructions that are on the cards, or a thread of instructions for empowering the soul and achieving the Godhead, which at the end is the world, symbolized by the world and the trump. And the trump was removed, and the Fool was kept as a joker, and you have your modern deck of playing cards, your clubs, hearts, diamonds, and spades. And they've been kept that way after the trump was removed. The trump actually contains the most important message of all. A lot of people are misled again by believing that this Yahweh crap is supposed to be a real being, and there's actually no such thing. The YHVH actually was a Hebrew version of the four elements. And that's you have your four suits of cards. Your rods are fire. Your swords, which correspond to spades, are air. Your pentacles, which correspond to clubs, are earth. Your cups, which correspond to hearts, are water. And the rods corresponding to diamonds. And that's the way it is. I mean, there's some where they say, some idiots say the rods correspond to the clubs. They don't. No. The red and the black, again, the colors of Egypt. The rods correspond to diamonds, the suit of fire. And you've got your four elements. And then the trump cards. The Fool was kept as the joker. My point here is that all of this is an allegory again, like I keep saying. And the life force, okay, God, as a matter of fact, is a code word. The gods, even though they're real, okay, now I'm talking about like Thoth and Father Satan and different demons, they're real, they're extraterrestrials. Okay, but there's also the flip side of the coin where in the ancient texts and writings, the gods are code words for the chakras, and especially the seventh chakra, God, heaven, and that's the truth. And the most important thing is the life force. This life force runs through everything on the earth, whether it's alive or even objects. There's molecules that are vibrating. The atomic structure. Satanism and science go together. Spirituality and science are actually partners, and that's one of the reasons why the Christian church has suppressed science so hard, is because science, you go far enough in either one of them and it's going to reveal the other, and that's the truth. Of course, what they call spirituality isn't even spiritual, so I mean, it's just it's twisted, warped, corrupted trash. They're not spiritual in any matter. I mean, in any respect at all. Everything in the Christian church is based upon the dollar. And people are just paying and paying and paying out the ass for their own damnation. And they're spiritually enslaved because of it. But true spirituality, science has not progressed far enough, and also in the colleges and that, okay, the emphasis is on atheism. And people that come up with new ideas, a lot of new ideas are ideas that conflict with the status quo, what they're trying to indoctrinate people with in the universities. And I attended university for 11 years, and I majored in the physical sciences. A lot of these people, say professors or wherever, and they try to present an idea that contradicts the status quo, and they're ostracized if they push it too far. NASA is totally tied up, and I read this in an astronomy text when I took astronomy class. Very few have access to proving their theses and that in NASA. Okay, it's another area that's tied up because everyone's living a lie. And basically, the powers that be fear these extraterrestrials who communicate telepathically. They fear them communicating with us. And you have all kinds of bunk, like these tabloids, like the Inquirer and everything, all these stupid stories about aliens to make it look like it's ridiculous. And that people that believe in UFOs and that type of thing are nuts. And, you know, oh yeah, we're all a bunch of nuts, but yet they spend millions and millions of dollars trying to suppress the truth. And we see very little about the Nordic gods. I mean, mainly, you know, anything out there is about these stupid greys, you know, that have been a boil on the ass of humanity. There's even images of them in the Egyptian pyramids. So obviously, I mean, this goes back thousands of years. I mean, there's pictures you can type in on the internet, and there's photographs of where they were depicted inside the pyramids and the temples in ancient Egypt. So, I mean, you know, they're real. And there's also very, very ancient cave drawings that show these bulbous-headed greys. And that's basically about all you have, you know, when you want to do some studying, go to the library or whatever about extraterrestrials. And the Nordic gods, okay, which are Satan's race of god, and the demons, they've kept us as far away from them as they possibly can, in every way that they can. And they've communicated with us and through us telepathically, those of us who are open to them and know the truth. So basically, there isn't a whole heck of a lot. They can tie it up materially, but they can't do much spiritually when people have enough knowledge. But Thoth, the ancient god Thoth, Egyptian god Thoth, he's also the father of alchemy. He told us that we humans do not live long enough to experience what they refer to as the God, which it isn't a being, it's the life force. We don't live long enough. We live a short span of anywhere between 70, 90 years. Some people are old, somewhere in there, average. We die, we forget everything that we've learned, and we're back at square one again in another reincarnation. And this force that he's talking about, and that's what it is. It's not a being, it is a force. It can be used for whatever you want to use it for. And science is aware of this force. It's in our aura. It's the vibrations of the universe. And you can see if someone is dead or alive. I mean, a dead body laying in a coffin, for those of you who have attended a wake, as opposed to the person when they're up walking around and alive, is very, very different, because that force has left them. But science has not progressed far enough because the Christian church has been fighting it every inch of the way, hoping to keep the people ignorant. Science has not progressed far enough to reveal the physics of the soul, the physics of the astral. But we're getting there. And the creation, anything or anyone can create. And also, creation, basically, evolution is a fact. You take a salamander and you put it in a cave where it's pitch black, and you put it in a pool in a cave. And that salamander In a few generations will become totally white, albino, and blind, because it has no need for its eyes, nor does it have any need for its pigment, because of the darkness of the cave. And it adapts to its environment, or it becomes extinct. Evolution is a fact. Everything does not need a creator. Okay, we can create. We can create thought forms. We can create a lot of things just as human beings. We can even create a soul. But that doesn't make us some omnipotent being. There is no ultimate. There's infinity. Thoth can tell you that. There's infinity. And this life force basically is what we use to create. And things evolve and create on their own. Like I mentioned before, a thunderstorm, you bring together the proper atmospheric conditions, and you can have a tornado or a thunderstorm. It comes together on its own by providing the right environment, the right elements, by putting a seed, whatever, in there, and it'll create something else on its own. Hail Satan.